Korea's per capita gross domestic product is estimated to have fallen in 2025 for the first time in 3 years, hovering just above the $36,000 mark amid sluggish growth and a sharply weaker won.
지난해 저성장과 고환율 속에 우리나라 1인당 국내 총생산 GDP가 3년 만에 감소하면서 36,000달러대를 겨우 유지한 것으로 잠정 집계됐습니다.
Yeah, it was a slight drop.
Okay.
A slight drop of 0.3% compared to the previous year. The exact amount, $36,107, was Korea's per capita nominal GDP for 2025. In dollar terms, it's estimated to have fallen 0.5% year on year. It's the first decline since 2022. And the reason for this is weak economic growth. But probably the biggest factor is probably the weak won currency, especially for an economy that's so dependent on exports. If the economy expands this year, Korea's per capita GDP is expected to return to about the 37,000 level, which was the previous record about 5 years ago. But, just kind of on a side note, nominal GDP, I think more and more is being used less and less as a measure of economic growth because nominal GDP is different from real GDP in that nominal GDP takes into account current prices.
Yeah.
Real GDP is more accurate, I think, based on the fact that price increases are included in that. Inflation. So prices are adjusted for inflation and also this per capita. I know Korea's, over the years, it's developed very quickly. I remember when Korea first reached the 10,000 mark, the 20,000 mark. It doesn't really mean that everyone makes an average of $36,000 a year per se, right? But in any case, it did go down this year, and that's what this headline is talking about.
그래요. 자, 저성장, 그 다음에 이 환율 급등 때문에 우리나라의 GDP가 소폭 줄어들었다라는 내용이 되겠습니다. 특히 GDP 같은 경우에는요, 항상 달러로 이렇게 바꿔서 그 다음에 순위를 매기기 때문에 우리나라의 원이 미국 달러에 비해서 좀 약해졌죠, 작년에. 그러다 보니까 이렇게 GDP가 36,107달러로 조금 떨어졌습니다. 3년 만에 감소한 모습이고요. Looking at GDP, even though you said the nominal GDP doesn't mean that much anymore, it was about roughly 12 years ago that Korea's nominal per capita GDP entered the $30,000 mark. It's been 12 years, like I said, and we still haven't reached the $40,000 mark. Whereas, say, Taiwan, for example, it reached the $30,000 mark just 5 years ago in 2021. And this year, in 2026, they're expecting it to actually surpass 40,000. So Taiwan has a similar economic, status to us, and they're moving a little bit faster ahead.
Well, a lot of that I can, guess that, of course, Taiwan's economy is largely based on high-tech industries like semiconductors, things like TSMC, obviously, is their biggest company. And that's why per capita GDP, I don't think, is a great indicator of a country's output. Because Taiwan has a smaller population than Korea as well. So that's why you're going to have a higher per capita. If you look at the list, the highest per capita GDP country is Liechtenstein, which is one of those postcard, those states in Europe. City-state, and their per capita GDP is over $200,000.
Wow.
Obviously, they're a very rich company. Just looking at the top 5, you have countries like Luxembourg, Switzerland, the Cayman Islands is another one. So if you want to just talk about pure economic growth, you want to look at, I would just say real GDP is the total output of the economy.
그렇군요. 이 1인당 GDP 하나만으로 그 나라의 경제를 말하기는
exactly.
쉽진 않습니다만 그럼에도 불구하고 우리가 지금 이제 GDP 보고 있으니까 IMF 국제통화기금 같은 경우에는요. 우리나라의 1인당 GDP가 한 2028년 정도면은 4만 달러를 넘어설 것으로 예상하고 있다고는 합니다. 자, 표현 좀 볼게요. Is estimated to have done something.
Yes. So if you estimate something, you're believing in something based on whatever data or analysis that you currently have, even if that exact figure isn't confirmed yet. Right. So it's not a fact yet, but based on the evidence and the information you have.
Right. Something is estimated. 추정된다. To have fallen 감소한 것으로 추정된다. What about hovering?
Hovering, H-O-V-E-R, right? Like a hovercraft. In this context, when you're talking about numbers or the economy, if a number hovers at a certain level, it stays at or around that particular level, right?
Yeah.
Or amount without a lot of change. It's just kind of staying there, kind of like a hovercraft over water.
hovering은요, 맴돌다의 의미가 있어요. 그래서 숫자가 hovering around something, 그러면 이 정도에서 맴돌다라는 뜻이 되겠고, ideas can hover. hovercraft 같은 경우에는 육지와 그 다음에 이제 바다를 오고 가는 튜브 형태로 되어 있는 그런 배라고 볼 수 있죠. 그래서 물 위를 약간 뜨는 것 같은, 땅 위도 뜨는 것 같은. 그래서 맴돌다라는 단어가 hovercraft에서는 어떻게 표현해야 될까요? 부상? 뭐 이렇게 물 위에도 부상하고 땅 위에도
It's floating, I think,
사실
in
떠
air.
있으니까.
Yeah,
그래요.
I guess another word, something closer to 맴돌다 would be like linger, I think.
linger. Oh yeah,
The numbers kind of lingering around the 36,000
that's a
mark
good
for the
one.
past couple of years. People can linger around,
Sure.
In a building or something. But that's another synonym you can use for this.
I like that. Lingering, hovering, similar, and can be used in similar ways with numbers as well. All right, well, let me read the headline again. Korea's per capita gross domestic product, or GDP, is estimated to have fallen in 2025 for the first time in 3 years, hovering just above the $36,000 mark amid sluggish growth and a sharply weaker won. Let's move on to the second headline.
Exports of Korean instant noodles, or ramyeon, rose about 22% year on year to reach a new record in 2025, buoyed by the global popularity of Korean cultural content, including the animated film K-pop Demon Hunters, according to the Korea Customs Service.
지난해 한국 라면 수출액이 애니메이션 영화 K-pop 데몬 헌터즈를 비롯한 한국 문화 콘텐츠의 세계적 인기에 힘입어 전년보다 약 22% 증가해 역대 최대를 기록했다고 관세청이 발표했습니다.
Yeah. If you ever have gone overseas lately, especially in the Asia region, and you go into a convenience store, it's not hard to find Korean ramyeon.
And you have been recently. So was
Yes.
it which one?
Absolutely.
Maybe don't say the brand, but were there a lot of
I'll
different
say
ones?
the countries and the brands, but
Okay.
all the popular brands are all out
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah, the hot spicy chicken flavor one
Yeah.
is a big one, and also kind of the most popular one here, the very spicy one here in Korea as well, red packaging. You can find it all in normal convenience stores. So it's really just gone into the mainstream because Korea itself shipped $1.5 billion worth of ramen. That's a lot of ramyeon. That's a lot of sodium too. But
15억 달러 이상의
Yeah.
라면 수출액입니다. 작년 한 해.
so just last year, 21% increase. Over the last 5 years, there's been an average annual growth of 23%. So
Wow.
that's tremendous growth right now. And obviously the reasons being the kind of the cultural content with K-pop Demon Hunters. That's a
Yeah.
big one. But I like to think that growing up, it was always ramen. We would always eat ramen noodles. But I love the fact that Korean ramyeon is now being accepted more and more. And people understand that Japanese ramen and Korean ramyeon are
Yep.
completely different.
맞아요. 얼마 전에 저희가 모닝 스페셜에서도 다뤘지만 옥스퍼드 딕셔너리에도 한국 표현 라면이 등재가 됐죠. 사실 일본식 라멘이라는 표현이 훨씬 더 이전에 옥스퍼드 딕셔너리에 외래어로 들어가 있었어요. 그래서 사람들이 이제 한국 라면을 설명할 때 어쩔 수 없이 It's like ramen but Korean 이런 식으로 표현을 했다면 지금은 그냥 한국식 라면이라고 하면 됩니다. 이 라면도 영어 외래어가 됐으니까요.
Yeah.
자, 그래서 이제 좀 보게 되면은 수치 10년 전보다 우리나라의 라면 수출액이 7배 늘었고요. 3년 전보다는 2배, 또 2년 만에 5억 달러 이상 늘었습니다. 정말 외국에서 라면 즐겨 먹고
Yeah.
찾고 있고 그래요.
I think objectively speaking, Korean ramyeon just tastes better.
아, 그래요?
And I'm being completely objective.
아주 객관적으로 말했을 때도 한국 라면이 우수하다. 좋습니다. 표현 볼게요.
Yeah.
Buoyed by something.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. Let me give you the spelling first. So B-U-O-Y-E-D. in a way, there's four vowels almost in a row, but it's
Buoyed.
buoyed. 2 syllables. A normal buoy is those things that float in the water,
Yep,
right?
they're round.
Yeah, and they're kind of like markers. But here, if something's buoyed by something, it's supported or it's encouraged, sort of, made stronger by some positive news here. So
Yeah.
here we're talking about ramen exports increasing. Why? It's buoyed by, Korean cultural content.
그렇죠. 자, 이 buoy라는 게 원래는 바다에 떠 있는 동글동글한 부표예요. 자, 그런데 이거를 우리가 잡고 있으면 어떻게 뜰 수가 있잖아요. 그래서 무언가에 힘입어라는 의미로 동사로 쓰는 겁니다. Buoyed by the popularity of Kaedehon and other Korean content. content 보겠습니다.
Yeah, this is a kind of a word that we say a lot in regular parlance, but I want everyone knows what content is, right? If you have physical content, let's say the contents of a box,
Yeah.
That's physical goods, right? But here we're talking about cultural content, which is sort of more abstract, right? So it's non-count. So you can't say contents
Yeah.
in this case. You can't say cultural contents. It's always singular because in Korean it's always 콘텐츠.
Yes.
That S is always in there. So just keep that in mind. Content is just basically material that's made for audiences to consume, right?
그러니까요. 이게 이제 우리가 말하는 콘텐츠, 그러니까 S가 있는 것처럼 들리지만 영어에서는 S가 붙지 않는 content라고 말을 해야 되고요. 내용물일 때는 S를 붙입니다. contents. 목차도 S를 붙입니다. 그 외에 우리가 말하는 인터넷 콘텐츠, 한류 콘텐츠 이런 것들은 영어로 content, no S. 다시 읽어볼게요. Exports of Korean instant noodles or ramen rose about 22% year on year to reach a new record in 2025, buoyed by the global popularity of Korean cultural content, including the animated film K-pop Demon Hunters, according to the Korea Customs Service.
The number of airline passengers at Korean airports hit a record high of almost 125 million last year, driven largely by an increase in international travel to and from the country, according to data from the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport.
국토교통부에 따르면 지난해 국내 공항 항공편 여객수가 국제선 이용객 증가 덕분에 총 1억 2,500만 명에 육박하면서 역대 최대를 기록했습니다.
Yeah.
네, 공항하고 항공이 계속 제가 헷갈리는데요. 네, 국내 공항 항공편
Yeah.
여객수 얘기입니다.
It's a mouthful. Nearly 125 million people passed through South Korean or Korean airports,
Yes.
both domestic and international travelers last year. That's up almost 4% from the previous year.
Okay.
And a lot of it is because of the international travelers.
It's also back to pre-pandemic levels.
Yeah, it's almost, I think we're there, right?
I think we surpassed it.
Surpassed it, right.
Yeah.
The previous high was in 2019, just before the pandemic. But a lot of that is from the international passengers again. Many flights that go in and out, not just through Incheon, but, all the local airports
Yeah.
as well. Jeju, Busan, Daegu, they all service international destinations. So all that has led to an increase in the number of passengers
Yep.
going to and fro the airport. And if you've ever been to Incheon Airport lately, there's always a lot of people there, it seems.
그래요. 작년 우리나라 국내선과 국제선을 합한 항공 여객수가요. 1억 2,479만 3,082명. 그러니까 1억 2,500만 명은 조금 안 됐지만 그래도 굉장히 가까운 숫자였고 이게 코로나 이전 시대인 2019년보다 높은 수치입니다.
Yeah.
그러니까 그동안에 이제 상당히 여행을 오랫동안 못 했잖아요. 근데 코로나 이전 수준을 웃도는 수준으로 다시 또 올랐고 이제 국제선 이용객이 특히 많이 늘어서 그렇다고 합니다.
Yeah. Well, in fact, what's interesting is domestic travelers actually fell last
Yeah,
year. Fell
noticed
almost
that.
3% to about 30 million. So,
Okay.
I'd like to see a boost in local tourism as well because there's so many lovely places just in Korea to
맞아요.
visit as well.
그러니까 작년에 국내선 이용객은 줄었어요. 그렇지만 국제선 이용객이 워낙 많이 늘어서 전체적으로 봤을 때는 지난해 항공 여객 수가 역대 최대인 거의 1억 2,500만 명을 기록했습니다. 이제 주로 중국 이용객과 일본 이용객들이 많이 늘었다고 하죠. Let's have a look at driven largely by something.
Yeah, so this is very similar to the expression we heard just the previous news headline when if something's buoyed by something, right? So in this case, we're talking about passenger figures. So if something's driven by it, it's caused mainly by it or primarily by this certain factor, whatever comes behind it.
Right. So when we think of the image, so always think of a picture in your mind. Buoyed, as we said, is something floating on the water. So something went up thanks to blah, blah, blah. That's buoyed. And then driven, think of a driver. Someone drove this car up the hill, for example.
Or just forward,
Or just
right?
forward, yeah. So it was driven by. 이것도 뭐뭐에 의해서 어느 방향으로 갔다라는 의미가 되겠죠. In this case, we're looking at passengers using Korean airports. It was largely driven by international travel.
Yeah, you could simply say, 125 million last year because of an increase. It basically means because of, right?
맞아요. 근데 이 largely라는 거는요. 대체로라는 뜻입니다. 대개라는 뜻이에요. 그래서 driven by가 뭐뭐에 의해서 이렇게 추진이 됐다. 앞으로 나아가게 됐다. And to and fro 아니면 to and from the country.
Yeah, so it's an expression used to describe movement in both directions, both entering and leaving the country. And you hear this a lot in either tourism or immigration figures, right?
그렇죠. To and from the country. 자국을 오고 가는. 여기서 이제 우리나라인데요.
You can also use this in the context of how do you go to work every morning? How do you travel to and from your office in the morning? You can say, I take the subway.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good question to keep in mind. How do you travel to and from your house to the office? Is that how you said? To and from the office.
Yeah, to and from the office.
자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The number of airline passengers at Korean airports hit a record high of almost 125 million last year, driven largely by an increase in international travel to and from the country, according to data from the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport. Here's our next headline.
Indonesia's Bali is weighing a rule that would require foreign tourists to disclose their bank account balances from the past 3 months in what is seen as its most far-reaching proposal yet to deter low-spending visitors and promote what officials call quality tourism.
인도네시아 발리 주 정부가 외국인 관광객을 대상으로 최근 3개월치 은행 계좌 잔액을 공개하도록 요구하는 새 규정을 검토 중인 것으로 알려졌습니다. 이는 관광객의 현지 소비 및 발리 당국이 말하는 이른바 고품질 관광을 촉진하기 위한 가장 강력한 제안으로 보입니다. Okay.
The problem here is that I think, according to the Bali government here, the governor, he's saying that right now they're receiving a lot of non-quality tourism, I suppose, i.e. backpackers, people who travel on low budgets. And it really affects you get this image of the ugly tourist, right, for example. But if this draft regulation passes, travelers would have to submit their bank balances from the past 3 months, but also their travel itineraries, including how long they're staying and their plans. And the governor argues that, hey, when Indonesians travel overseas and they obtain visas, they have to provide proof of funds and itineraries if you apply to visas for countries like the US or Europe. So they're just doing the same thing what other countries are doing. Now, how this will hurt the Bali economy, because I know a lot of it depends on tourism, that's yet to be figured out, I guess. But I'm sure officials have looked into that.
Yeah. The number of people who visited Bali last year was around 7 million, which is the highest in 10 years, they say. So loads of tourists were swarming to Bali, but maybe not spending as much money as the people of Indonesia would like. So that's why they're saying, okay, we're going to have to check your bank accounts just to make sure you have plenty of money before you visit our country.
Sure. What's
But this is
interesting,
controversial.
Yeah, a lot of times, when I travel this is my personal experience, but in Southeast Asia, when you see backpackers sort of peddling for money on the streets in a different country, I always wonder how that person got into that situation. I mean, they may have their own personal stories, I suppose. But in any case.
자, 굉장히 인기 있는 신혼여행지죠. 인도네시아 발리에서 어쩌면은 앞으로 이제 여행을 원하는 외국인 관광객들은 미리 최근 3개월치의 은행 계좌 잔액을 공개하고 여기서 심사해서 통과를 해야지만 발리로 여행을 할 수 있다라는 이런 이제 안이 추진 중인 겁니다. 아직은 검토 단계에 있어요. 그래서 여기서 weighing이라는 표현이 나오는데 무게를 재다, weighing이라는 게 어떤 안을 검토 중이고 추진 중이다. 아직 확정은 아니에요. 근데 만약에 확정이 되면은 이제 통장 잔고를 먼저 공개해서 그래서 이제 승인이 되면 발리로 여행을 가야 되는 상황이기 때문에 논란이 일고 있습니다. 인도네시아 측에서는 인도네시아인들도 일부 외국 국가에 여행을 갈 때 이렇게 통장 공개하는 그런 정책을 적용받는다고 하면서 그럼 우리도 똑같이 하겠다라는 입장인데요. 어떻게 될지는 잘 모르겠습니다. Let's have a look at some expressions here. The first one is to disclose your bank account.
Yeah, it means you have to make that information known. Usually it's private, right? But you need to provide that information or disclose that information to get travel permission, I guess.
Exactly. To disclose. That means to publicly open. 공개적으로 보여주다라는 것이 이제 disclose, 공개하다가 되겠고요. bank account가 통장이에요. balance는 잔액입니다. Now, what about the most far-reaching?
Yeah, if something is very far-reaching, it means it has the sort of the widest significant effects on something, especially over time. So it means it's reaching very, very far. It's going to the limit, right? In a
그렇죠.
way.
가장 멀리까지 그 파급력을 미치는 파급력이 있는 것이니까요. 여기서 말하는 거는 지금까지 보인 여러 가지 정책 제안 중에서 가장 강력하다. 이렇게 볼 수 있겠죠. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Indonesia's Bali is weighing a rule that would require foreign tourists to disclose their bank account balances from the past 3 months in what is seen as the most far-reaching proposal yet to deter low-spending visitors and promote what officials call quality tourism. Now here's our final headline.
A rare copy of the 1938 comic that introduced Superman to the world and was once stolen from actor Nicolas Cage's home and returned to him over a decade later has sold to an anonymous collector for $15 million.
슈퍼맨을 세상에 처음 알린 동명의 만화책 초판본이 익명의 수집가에게 1,500만 달러, 우리 돈으로 약 219억 원에 팔렸습니다. 이 만화책은 1938년에 나온 휴기본으로 한때 배우 니콜라스 케이지의 자택에서 도난당했다가 10년이 넘는 세월이 흐른 후 그에게 반환된 바 있습니다.
Yeah, so this comic book, Action Comics issue number 1, is the holy grail of comic book collectors. It's the most expensive. Previously, just last year, like a complete pure mint condition, pristine Superman number 1 went to auction at over 9 million. So this one, because it has such a, I guess it's been on such a crazy sort of tale journey on its own through, being stolen from Nicolas Cage's home. It was discovered in a warehouse somewhere in Los Angeles, I think, and returned to him. And I think that's why this sold for so much. But if you've ever, I used to collect comic books when I was younger.
Oh, really?
And, obviously, I didn't have, I was nowhere near getting this edition here. But for collectors, this is a very, very rare item.
네. 1938년에 나온 슈퍼맨 First Edition이고요. 출시 당시에 1938년에는 얼마였는지 아세요?
Probably like 2 cents, maybe?
10 cents.
10 cents, okay.
10 cents였는데 그거를 현재 화폐 가치로 환산을 해도 한 2달러 25센트. 그러니까 지금 돈으로 한 3,000원 정도였던 거죠. 1938년 당시에. 그게 지금 우리 돈으로 219원에 팔린 겁니다. And what happened with Nicolas Cage is that he owned it for a while and then it got stolen, as you said. And about 11 years after it was stolen in 2011, it was discovered in a warehouse and then Nicolas Cage, shortly after, he sold it.
Yeah.
So we don't know the current seller or the buyer. That's why we use the term anonymous. Let's have a look at that.
Sure. If something is anonymous, that means it's not identified by name. We don't know the identity of that person.
Right. 익명의 누구누구 할 때 anonymous. And of course, if we introduce something to the world, that means this is the first time.
Yeah, you're presenting it. You're making something known. In this case, globally, I suppose.
Yeah.
But this comic, it wasn't called Superman #1. He was just a character in this comic book. But then it took kind of a life of its own.
그래요. A 1938 comic that introduced Superman to the world. 세상에게 슈퍼맨을 소개해준 동명의 만화책. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A rare copy of the 1938 comic that introduced Superman to the world was once stolen from actor Nicolas Cage's home and returned to him over a decade later, has sold to an anonymous collector for $15 million. And that's it for the headlines.
K-pop Demon Hunters, created and directed by Korean-Canadian Maggie Kang, has won Best Animated Motion Picture at the 83rd Golden Globe Awards, while its theme song Golden has been awarded Best Original Song in a Motion Picture.
한국계 캐나다인인 매기 강 감독이 만든 애니메이션 영화 K-pop 데몬 헌터즈가 제83회 골든글로브 시상식에서 애니메이션 작품상을, 이 영화의 주제가 골드는 주제가상을 수상했습니다.
So
Congratulations.
Congratulations to the team. I mean, we saw, was it last week or the week before, the Critics' Choice Awards, where K-pop Demon Hunters took home Best Animation. That's always an indicator of where the voting may go.
Yeah.
And it's certainly for the Oscars as well. This is a positive sign for the film.
Yeah, we're leading up to that, aren't we?
We are. So always the Golden Globes gives us a sense of what may win an Oscar. But certainly it was fierce competition. There was Arco, there was Demon Slayer, Ilio, Little Amelie, Zootopia 2, but Kaedaehan won out. That was best animation, and I think it's only fitting that a song called Golden wins the award for best song at the Golden Globes.
Exactly.
And
Didn't think of that.
I think also that you have three brilliant singers who weren't really known before K-pop Demon Hunters. You know,
Right.
you've got EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami. That they've now become superstars thanks to their brilliant voices, and I think that's just a credit to them. However, Sue, I'm angry.
Because the other movie didn't get an award?
Yeah, I'm upset because Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice. It was nominated, but it didn't win anything. Because I think it should.
Well, at least it was nominated. That's an achievement.
But certainly I'm crossing my fingers for the Oscars. I don't think K-pop Demon Hunters needs any help. I would say it's going to win at the Academy Award for Best Animation. We'll have to see, but congratulations to them.
그래요. 자, 골든 글로브스 시상식이 치러졌고요. 그래서 K-pop Demon Hunters가 이렇게 수상을 하는 쾌거를 이뤘습니다. 안타깝게도 어쩔 수가 없다 영화는
네.
상을 받지 못했지만
어쩔 수가 없었어요.
어쩔 수가 없었군요. 그렇지만 아직 시상식이 하나 더 남았죠.
Yeah.
오스카즈 시상식을 좀 기대해 볼 수 있을까요? 선생님은 지금 기대가 된다고 하셨습니다. 아까 you said Kaedaehan won out.
Yes.
And I like that expression.
Yeah, because if you win out, you succeed. You beat everybody else. But it has the sense that it took effort to do it.
Yeah.
That you've been battling or you've been enduring something hard. And I think they have.
Yeah.
Any film to get to this level of popularity, it takes a lot of people and a lot of work.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about the director. She's
Yes.
a Korean Canadian.
Yes, I was thinking about this last night. Because we say Korean Canadian, we say Korean American. Those are probably the two we say the most. And it means somebody of Korean heritage who was born in either Canada or America.
And holds a Canadian passport or an American passport.
Yes. But we don't really say a Korean Brit. It's
Maybe
not used in the same
Maybe we
way.
just haven't had a famous Korean Brit yet.
Well, I think it's also a cultural difference because Asian American, African American, these are phrases we hear a lot coming from the United States, where in the UK, growing up, certainly, we never used that kind of moniker. You'd say, my parents come from wherever.
Yeah.
But I
You're
wouldn't
actually
hear so
right.
much of that. And I think it's an interesting cultural difference. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just in the UK, you won't hear this language as much as you would in North America.
That's a good point. I'd never thought of that. It doesn't have to be a famous person, but just people in general who
Yes.
live in the UK of Korean heritage, but with a UK passport. Yeah, I guess you don't say, hey, this is my Korean British friend.
No. They're just British, and they might talk about being Korean at the same time. So it's
Never thought of that.
and I just thought of it last night when I was reading this article.
그러네요.
So, yeah, it's fascinating. But if you meet a Korean Canadian, they are a Canadian citizen,
Yeah.
but also at one point their family came from Korea to Canada.
그렇죠. 한국계 캐나다인 Korean Canadian, 한국계 미국인은 Korean American. 이 두 개의 표현은 정말 우리가 많이 쓰는데 진짜 생각해 보니까 한국계 영국인들도 많이 있는데 Korean British라는 표현은 우리가 일상적으로 많이 못 들어본 것 같아요.
No, it's the identity politics and identity culture is different in Europe compared to America and Canada.
Because I too used to have permanent residency in
Sure.
the UK. I don't anymore. But I don't think I ever introduced myself as Korean Brit.
No,
Yeah, it's a good point.
it's a thing I've never heard, and I think it's interesting to take note of it.
그러네요. 자, 이어서 motion picture 한번 가보겠습니다.
I don't know about you, Sue, but I can't remember the last time I used this phrase because I'm not on a jury for an award ceremony. Because the only time you'll hear this used really is for awards or for a very formal statement.
Yeah.
The word we use is movie or film, but a motion picture is that. It's just pictures that move.
It's a very old term, and it obviously refers to the stage in, development where we were first astonished by how pictures could move.
Well, what are movies? Moving pictures.
Moving pictures.
Yeah.
그렇죠. 움직이는 그림이라는 표현이잖아요. Motion picture가 사실상 그런 느낌인데 오래된 표현이기 때문에 우리가 일상 대화에서는 쓰진 않지만 이렇게 공식적인 영화와 관련된 자리에서는 여전히 이런 표현을 씁니다. Motion picture 하면 movies라고 생각하시면 됩니다.
And you know what they called them when sound was introduced?
What?
Talkies.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, from silent film
Yeah,
to
talk,
sound film,
right.
they were nicknamed talkies.
Of course, because there was that transition
Yeah.
from silent movies to sound movies, whatever you call them.
Talkies.
Talkies. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. K-pop Demon Hunters, created and directed by Korean-Canadian Maggie Kang, has won Best Animated Motion Picture at the 83rd Golden Globe Awards, while its theme song Golden has been awarded Best Original Song in a Motion Picture. Let's move on to the second headline.
Korean cosmetics exports topped a record $11 billion in 2025, with the number of export destinations expanding to 202 countries, up from 172 the previous year.
지난해 우리나라 화장품 수출 규모가 110억 달러를 넘어서면서 역대 최대 실적을 경신한 가운데 수출국도 2024년 172개국에서 작년 202개국으로 증가했습니다. Another story about K-culture.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us, well, K-cosmetics more specifically.
Everyone and their Uncle Bob knows about K Cosmetics. They're all over the place. I think
Yep.
the first time I remember it being really big was when it was the snail slime. Maybe about 10 or
Okay.
so years ago. There was a Korean product with snail slime in it, and it became a trend in
달팽이
overseas.
크림 뭐 이런 거 말씀하시는 것 같아요.
But everybody's using it, and it's we've got up 12.3% from the previous year. In 2025, we had $11.43 billion exported when it came to cosmetics. What's interesting is where it's going. So the US accounts for $2.2 billion in shipments. Second is China with $2 billion. And let's face it, they're populous countries.
Yeah.
Third is Japan with 1.1 billion. Much smaller population and yet a lot of K cosmetics. And the other thing is 202 countries compared to 172 the year before. It's pretty much everywhere and anywhere in the world.
와, 작년 2025년에요. 202개국에 한국 화장품이 수출이 됐습니다. 1년 전에는 172개국이었으니까 상당히 많이 늘었다고 볼 수 있겠고 그중에서도 미국, 이어서 중국, 그다음에 일본이 우리나라 화장품을 굉장히 많이 수입해 갔네요. Let's have a look at the expressions export destinations.
Yes, so export, we're talking about sending goods out of the country as opposed to import when we bring them in. And an export destination is the place we're sending them to.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a country, it could be a city as well if there's a major city receiving exports. But generally we'd say, one export destination is the US, another is China, another is Japan.
Exactly. A destination is like the end point where you're trying to go.
Yes.
보통 이제 목적지를 destination이라고 하기도 하는데 export destination은 수출 대상국이 되겠죠. 그리고 destination wedding이라고 하면은 보통 이제 멀리 가서 하는 결혼식입니다. 때로는 비행기를 타고 가야 될 수도 있고요.
Yeah.
배를 타고 가야 될 수도 있고 가까운 거리가 아니라 정말 아주 먼 곳에서 결혼식을 할 때 이런 표현을 써요. I'm gonna have a destination wedding.
Exactly. And when you're at the airport going through immigration, you may hear the question, what's your destination today?
Exactly. 오늘 어디까지 가시나요? 그죠? 목적지가 어딘가요? Where's your destination today? What about previous?
It's the one before. Whenever we're talking about previous, it's something that happened before the thing that is happening now, or the thing that happened before the thing that happened. It's going to be whatever it is, it's happened before that.
In the previous week means last week. In
Yes.
the previous year means last year.
Yeah, in the previous news item, we talked about K-pop Demon Hunters.
That means in the article just before.
Exactly.
이전의 something, previous. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Korean cosmetics exports topped a record $11 billion in 2025, with the number of export destinations expanding to 202 countries, up from 172 the previous year.
Raging wildfires in the Argentine Patagonia have blazed through nearly 12,000 hectares of scrubland and planted and native forests, threatening local communities, according to the country's firefighting authorities.
아르헨티나 파타고니아 지역에서 대형 산불이 발생해 12,000헥타르에 달하는 잡목지와 산림이 소실되고 지역 사회도 위험에 처한 상황이라고 현지 소방 당국이 발표했습니다. Tell us more.
Well, I mean, wildfires are something I think the world is coming to terms with on a regular basis now. I mean, a year ago, they had devastating fires in Patagonia, the worst they'd had in decades. It destroyed dozens of homes, left one person dead. And so they've been on high alert.
Right.
The really worrying thing is that in one of the fires in this Andean region has put a power plant and a school at risk. So we're talking about, the dangerous situations that they're trying to contain. The other worrying thing is that the governor of one of these areas has told journalists there's indications one of the biggest fires was deliberately set. So this is not a natural wildfire. Someone has actually started this. They have contained other fires, but they are still active. So there's still emergency status, but the authorities are handling it as best they can.
네, 아르헨티나 파타고니아 지역입니다. 진화 작업에 어려움을 겪으면서 피해가 늘고 있는 상황인데요. 이 12,000헥타르라고 하면은 축구장 17,000개에 해당됩니다. 엄청난 면적이에요. Let's have a look at the affected types of areas.
Yes.
Scrubland.
Well, scrubland. Scrub is nothing to do with washing up in this case.
No.
You're not scrubbing dishes. When we use scrub as a noun, it's referring to small plants or stunted plants. Think bushes.
Okay.
So scrubland, there's not going to be many trees. It's not a forest. And it's not a field. It's more sort of patches of plants growing here and there. Not a desert, but certainly a little bit sparser than you would find in a forest.
그럼 덤불 같은 bushes가 많이 있는 그런 땅이군요. 우리가 이제 잡목지라고 했는데요. 관목지라고도 부를 수 있습니다. 잡목으로 덮인 그런 땅. 그다음에 또 이제 planted and native forests라고 했는데요. Planted forests would be artificially made forests, whereas
But real trees.
of course, and native forests have just been there forever.
Yes, and it also could be referring to the species of trees.
그렇군요.
In the same way that we have trees that were native to Korea, we have trees that have been imported.
그렇죠. Planted forests 그러면은 인위적으로 나무를 심어서 조성한 숲이 되겠고요. Native forests 그러면은 예전부터 지금까지 쭉 그대로 자연 상태 그대로 있는 그런 숲이 되겠죠. 자, 이런 모든 지역이 지금 이 산불 피해를 입고 있습니다. If something is threatened or something has threatened something, what does
Yeah.
that mean?
Well, it means it's put it in danger. it's a little bit different when we say a threat as opposed to do a threat.
You better give me the definition of this right now,
Yeah,
Paul,
so
or else.
Sue is threatening me. She's not actually putting me in danger, but she's saying she will put me in danger if I don't do this. However, when we talk about something rather than someone threatening something, it means that thing will cause the other thing danger. There is a
Exactly.
chance, there is a risk of damage or disaster.
자, 조금 전에 제가 선생님한테 지금 이 정의 안 알려주시면은 정말 가만히 안 놔둘 거예요. 라고 협박 아닌 협박을 했습니다.
잠시만 우리 PD님 우리 이따가 방송 끝났을 때 얘기 좀 해야 해요. 네, 감사합니다.
자, 이 협박하다도 threaten이에요.
네.
그래서 be threatened 그러면은 그런 위협을 당했다라는 느낌인데 꼭 말로 하는 협박만 말하는 게 아니라 자연적인 상황, 어떤 지금 같은 산불 같은 상황이 이 전체 지역을 위험에 빠뜨리고 있고 사람들도 지역 자체가 위협 상황에 빠져 있죠. 그럴 때도 be threatened를 쓰는
Exactly,
겁니다.
yes.
네. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Raging wildfires in the Argentine Patagonia have blazed through nearly 12,000 hectares of scrubland and planted and native forests, threatening local communities, according to the country's firefighting authorities. Here's our next headline.
A severe cold spell sweeping across Finland has forced the cancellation of all flights in some regions, leaving thousands of tourists stranded as temperatures plunge to minus 37 degrees Celsius, disrupting aircraft de-icing operations.
핀란드에 극한 한파가 닥친 가운데 일부 지역은 항공편이 모두 결항돼 관광객 수천 명의 발이 묶인 상태입니다. 이는 현지 기온이 영하 37도까지 떨어지면서 항공기 얼음 제거 작업이 어려워졌기 때문인 것으로 알려졌습니다. So just before we had stories about raging wildfires,
Yes.
and now halfway across the globe we're talking about very cold spells in Finland.
Yes, in Lapland in particular at Kittilä Airport. And normally the average winter temperature is about minus 14.
Okay.
So it's colder than Seoul,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not that bad. But occasionally it does drop below minus 30. And when temperatures don't go above minus 35, well, that's when the airport basically shuts down. They can't let planes take off for safety reasons because it's hard to de-ice planes, but also their equipment can freeze.
Yeah.
So they aren't able to use it. And so we had travelers from all over the world who couldn't travel on Sunday because everything was cancelled.
그렇군요. 평소에도 이제 라플란드 지역 같은 경우 영하 14도 정도의 겨울 기온을 기록하기는 합니다만 며칠 전에 영하 37도 기록했고요. 어제도 영하 40도까지 내려갈 거라는 예보가 있었거든요. 이러다 보니까 그냥 비행기의 기체 자체가 꽁꽁 얼어붙어서 도저히 움직일 수가 없는 겁니다.
And there's another problem because of moisture in the air, slippery frost.
Yes, absolutely. And even if you try to defrost the plane, it freezes again immediately.
Exactly.
It's minus 37 degrees.
Plus, I have to say, who would want to be out de-icing planes in that weather? You've got to think of the
Exactly.
people on the ground. So the planes remain on the ground for the time being. I'm sure they
Right.
will be back up in the air soon. But a number of travellers have maybe had to go back and see Santa or the Northern Lights again.
All right, let's have a look at the expressions. This cold spell is sweeping across Finland.
Yes, when we talk about weather, the word sweep is often used.
Yeah.
And it is literally moving from one place to another and across, saying from, like going from west to east or north to south. But with the word sweeping, it's not just a small area that's moving across, it's a large area. In the same way that a broom sweeps the
Yeah.
floor, you don't just sweep a little bit, you're sweeping the whole expanse of that part of floor.
Yeah, I remember sweeping the classroom when I was in school many years ago. We don't really sweep houses. I don't think apartments because we have vacuum cleaners.
I sweep.
Okay, maybe I need
No,
to
I'm just
sweep.
old-fashioned.
Right. 그래요. 빗자루로 이렇게 쓰는 거가 스위핑이거든요. 그래서 저는 예전에 학창 시절에 스위핑 했던 걸 떠올랐는데 선생님 요즘에 집에서도 빗자루로 바닥을 이렇게 쓸고 하시는군요. 좋습니다.
I once saw a really sad movie about a man who would use a brush to clean his house every day.
Yeah?
It made me cry. I got really sweepy.
That, of course, means you were crying, you were very sad, you had tears.
Yeah, weepy, but I was
Weepy.
sweepy.
그래요.
Oh,
sweeping
I'm
across,
so sorry, everybody.
sweeping across라는 게 비유적으로 쓰인 표현이겠죠. 마치 큰 빗자루로 먼지를 쓸고 가는 것처럼 지역을 휩쓴 한파를 얘기하고 있습니다. Now, what about forcing the cancellation of something?
Well, the cancellation of something means it has been cancelled, meaning it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's always about something in the future, something that's
Sure.
about to happen. And if the cancellation is forced, it means there was no choice. It's not what people wanted to do, it's what they had to do, either because of circumstance or because of another group or because of another person or a government or whatever. It wasn't their choice, but they had to stop it from happening.
뭐뭐 하도록 만들어졌다. 거의 강제로 뭐뭐 할 수밖에 없었다. 이런 느낌인데요. Forced the cancellation of flights라고 했죠. 그러니까 forcing the cancellation이라는 것은 이렇게 취소할 수밖에 없는 상황이 됐다라고 보면 되겠네요. 다시 읽어볼게요. A severe cold spell sweeping across Finland has forced the cancellation of all flights in some regions, leaving thousands of tourists stranded as temperatures plunge to minus 37 degrees Celsius, disrupting aircraft de-icing operations. All right, let's move on to the final headline.
The proportion of seniors among Koreans living overseas has reached 25%, the highest level since the Interior Ministry began including overseas Koreans in its population data in January 2015.
해외에 거주하는 재외국민 사회의 노인 인구 비율이 25%에 진입한 것으로 파악됐습니다. 이는 행정안전부가 재외국민을 인구 통계에 포함하기 시작한 2015년 이후 가장 높은 수준입니다. Okay, well, we talk about the aging population here in Korea a lot,
Yes.
but it's also Koreans living overseas.
Yeah, it's reflected there. It's ticking up slowly. We have about 89,000 overseas Koreans who still have their Korean nationality.
Right.
And we've got 25% of them aged 65. If we look at 2021, it was only 20.2%
Okay.
of people were 65 or older. And so we're seeing it in tandem with Korea's aging society. It's happening with overseas Koreans as well. One of the reasons officials are saying is that emigration has increased among those who were retired. So senior citizens are deciding, well, I want to go and live overseas. I want to spend my remaining years, I don't know, somewhere warm or somewhere cold. Maybe they go to Lapland.
And the interesting thing is the percentage of elderly Koreans overseas is higher than the percentage of elderly Koreans in Korea.
Yes, so we saw that trend happening before, or at least at a faster rate than in Korea.
Right.
We'll see what happens, but certainly with Korea's aging population, it seems like there'll still be aging overseas Koreans.
그래요. 65세 이상 이 고령 인구가 우리나라에 거주하는 이제 한국 인구에서는 전체 21% 정도인데요. 재외국민을 보게 됐을 때는 25%입니다. 그러니까 거꾸로 말하자면은 국내에 있는 노인 인구보다 해외에 있는 노인 인구의 비율이 더 크다라고 볼 수 있겠죠. 뭐 숫자 자체는 당연히 크지 않겠지만 상대적으로는 그렇습니다. 자, 표현 좀 볼게요. We're talking about seniors.
Yes, not to get confused, because in Korean we use junior and senior a lot to mean somebody who is either above us or below us.
선배 후배라는 의미도 있죠.
Yeah, and in English we translate that as junior and senior in Korea, though
Yep.
other countries may not understand. But the word senior here is referring to a senior citizen.
Yeah.
So that is somebody who is over the official retirement age. And again, this can get confusing because in different countries it's a different age.
Sure.
And it has been changing in countries in the past few years. But yes, it's an older adult. The word that I think some people don't like is the elderly. And when I was growing up, we'd say OAP,
Yeah.
which is old age pensioner, which I don't think people like at all these days.
Really?
My parents hate it.
아, 그래요. 자, seniors가 여기서 말하는 이제 고령자가 되겠는데요. 때에 따라서는 my senior, 그러면 내 선배, my
네.
junior, 그러면 내 후배라는 의미도 될 수 있으니까 문맥에 따라서 해석을 하시면 되겠습니다. 지금 이 뉴스에서는 당연히 뭐 선후배 얘기가 아니니까 고령자라는 의미겠죠. And what about overseas?
Well, literally meaning over the sea, another country.
Yep.
We can say that China is overseas, even though theoretically it's attached by land through other countries. But yeah, it's referring to a foreign country of some kind.
그렇죠? 해외가 되겠습니다. 해외로의 의미로 여기서는 썼죠? 다시 읽어볼게요. The proportion of seniors among Koreans living overseas has reached 25%, the highest level since the Interior Ministry began including overseas Koreans in its population data in January 2025. 해외로가 아니라 이제 해외에 거주 중인이라는 의미로 여기서는 쓰였네요. All right, well that's it for the headlines with Paul Matthews.
The Ministry of Education has projected that the number of children entering elementary school this year will fall below 300,000 for the first time, 1 year earlier than previously forecast.
교육부는 올해 전국 초등학교 1학년 학생 수가 처음으로 30만 명 아래로 떨어질 것으로 전망했습니다. 이는 처음 예상됐던 시점보다 1년 앞당겨진 결과입니다. Less and less students, more and more empty schools.
Yep.
And now, of course, stats show that this year we're going to have under 300,000.
Yeah.
Initially, they said this was going to be 2027.
Right.
But it's 2026.
Yep, it's 1 year earlier than expected. So it's in reflection of the country's prolonged low birth rate or ultra low birth rate. I think I've also heard. So as we've mentioned, the Ministry of Education, they projected first grade enrollment will reach 298,178 a year earlier than previously forecast after updated population data. First grade enrollment has plunged from over 700,000 in 1999 to just above 324,000 last year and is expected to drop further to around 220,000 by 2031. The trend highlights a rapid contraction of the school-age population, with the total number of elementary, middle, and high school students projected to fall below 5 million this year.
Enrollment means sort of signing up for school.
Yep.
등록한다는 의미예요. 그래서
Yep.
학교 얘기를 하면서 입학할 때 또 이제 학교 등록할 때 enroll, E-N-R-O-L-L을 쓰는데요. 명사 형태 enrollment가 여기서 쓰였습니다. 초등학교 입학을 얘기하고 있죠. Less and less students are enrolling in elementary school, not because they don't want to, because there's just not enough of them.
Not enough, yep.
All right, let's have a look at entering.
Enter. When you enter a room, it means to go into a room. When you enter a school, it means to go into a school.
Yeah.
So it means to come or go into a place, or it means to begin to be involved in something.
We just mentioned enrolling in a school.
Yep.
It's the same thing,
It
but a
is.
simpler word, entering elementary school. In the US, they say elementary school. In the UK, primary school, but it's the same thing. What about previously forecast?
Previously forecast. So this refers to a prediction or estimate about a future event or condition that was made at an earlier time. So we talk about like weather forecasts. A forecast means something that was a prediction that was made earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Previously forecast. So previously would be an adverb, and then forecast would be the verb.
Yep.
자, 그래서 앞서 전망된 이란 뜻이 되겠죠. With TV dramas, oftentimes at the start of a new episode, they'll say previously. And then they'll
something, yeah.
Exactly. So when Squid Game 2 came out and then when Squid Game 3 came out, at the start of this new series, I think they had like a short summary of the previous season.
Yep.
So that people could catch up, or if you hadn't watched it, at least you kind of have an idea of what happened previously. 이전에. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The Ministry of Education has projected that the number of children entering elementary school this year will fall below 300,000 for the first time, 1 year earlier than previously forecast. Let's move on to the second headline.
The volume and value of damaged Korean banknotes, including bills burned in fires or damaged by moisture from improper storage, declined last year as fewer notes were returned amid rising cash demand, according to the central bank.
작년에 불에 타거나 보관 과정에서 습기로 손상된 경우 등으로 인해 폐기된 지폐가 규모와 액면가, 양면에서 모두 감소했습니다. 이에 대해 한국은행은 시중금리 하락에 따른 화폐 수요 증가 등의 영향으로 지폐 환수가 감소했기 때문이라고 설명했습니다. Okay, so tell us more.
Yeah, I remember we reported on something like this last year,
We
saying
did.
that the returned or the banknotes that were damaged, if we piled it all up, it would reach like Mount Everest or something like that. That was
Many times Mount Everest.
Yeah,
Yep.
a lot.
Same this time as well.
Yeah, same this time as well, but I guess it's decreasing
yeah,
less.
yeah.
Yeah. So they're saying that it's a little bit less. So the Bank of Korea destroyed 364.01 million damaged notes in 2025. That's down 23.3% from the previous year. Their total value declined 15.9% to 2.84 trillion won. That's about 1.93 billion US dollars. Damaged banknotes include those that have been burned or that have been damaged by water, or maybe they're ripped so you can't use it.
Right.
And the central bank has attributed this drop mainly to increased currency demand that's been driven by lower market interest rates.
그래요. 자, 2025년 데이터가 이제 막 나온 겁니다. 우리 이렇게 돈을 못 쓰게 되면 참 아까워요.
Yeah.
네, 뭐 불에 타거나 물에 젖거나 이래서 도저히 사용할 수 없는 그런 지폐가요. 2025년에 모두 3억 6천만 장이 넘었다고 합니다. 상당히 많은데 1년 전에는 그거보다 1억 장이 더 많았어요. 4억 7천만 장이나 있었으니까 작년은 그 전년에 비해서는 양이 좀 줄었다라고 볼 수 있지만 이 3억 장이라는 게 어느 정도 규모냐? If you put this into perspective, because it doesn't really mean anything to us, right?
Yeah.
자, 그러면은 좀 쉽게 이해하기 위해서
Put it all,
그
pile it all up.
가로로 이으면은
Okay.
그냥
Okay.
이렇게 바로 쌓는 건 아니고요. 가로로 이게 이으면은 총 길이가 한 4만 킬로미터가 된다고 하는데요.
Oh, wow.
이게 뭐냐면 지구 한 바퀴 돌고도 남는 정도 길이고요. 에베레스트 산으로 비유를 하자면은 17배 에베레스트 산 17개를 이렇게
Oh, wow.
켜켜이 쌓아 놓은 것 같은 이런 정도의 높이라고 합니다. 가로로 이 지폐들을 다 이으면 그렇대요. 상당하죠.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
아까워요.
That is a lot of money. And I did hear that, even if it has been damaged, if there's like half of it left, the central bank has certain regulations, but you can take it and they will, give you back some of the money. So try to salvage some of it if
you
you
can.
find damaged bills.
Exactly. To salvage, of course, means to save something, to rescue something.
Yep.
In this case, of course, it means try to make the banknote of some use instead of throwing it away. But sometimes you have to.
Yeah, sometimes you do.
Yeah. Okay, so we know coins. What are banknotes?
Banknotes. It's paper money, basically.
Yep.
Yep.
지폐네요. 네, banknote. One word. Banknotes. 자, 그다음에 improper storage.
Improper storage. So you can also say this, it's been stored improperly. And it means that you have kept something in a maybe not safe, not legal, not in a best practice sort of way, so that it has been damaged, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not always our fault. If there was a fire, for example, which is the case with a lot of these banknotes, it's not really improperly stored, but this is just an overarching expression, I guess, for these terms.
There's so many different reasons why
Yeah.
these banknotes are damaged. So,
네,
yeah.
improper라는 거는 제대로 되지 않았다라는 뜻이에요. proper가 제대로 됐다는 거니까 improper, 부적절하다, 제대로 되지 않았다. storage는 보관이겠죠. 그래서 예를 들자면은 장판에 눌려서 손상된 은행권 그 지폐들도
dear.
상당히
Yeah.
많고요.
Yeah.
네, 뭐 불에 탄 거는 사실 우리 어쩔 수가 없는 건데 습기로 인해서 손상된 지폐들도 꽤 많았다고 합니다.
I can
예를
imagine.
들자면은 습한 장롱 안에다가
Yeah.
오랫동안 보관을 한다든지 이런 것들은 사실 improper storage라고 볼 수 있겠죠.
Yes.
자, 다시 한번. 네, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The volume and value of damaged Korean banknotes, including bills burnt in fires or damaged by moisture from improper storage, declined last year as fewer notes were returned amid rising cash demand, according to the central bank.
Korean researchers have developed a water treatment method that removes more than 95% of microscopic plastic pollution within 10 minutes by drawing the particles together using a magnetic field.
자기장을 이용해 물속 미세 나노플라스틱을 자석처럼 끌어당겨 10분 만에 95% 이상 제거하는 기술이 국내 연구진에 의해 개발됐습니다.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
It's amazing because we worry about these microplastics. They're everywhere, they say. In the water, we drink from the faucet. So this, I hope that this will be helpful for us. But anyway, so this is according to Busan National University researchers. They say that they have developed this rapid water treatment method that removes microscopic plastic pollution by clustering these particles together with a magnetic field. And this technique eliminated more than 95% of micro and nanoplastics within 10 minutes using plate-shaped iron oxide magnetic nanoparticles, which have a larger contact area than conventional spherical particles. And when a magnetic field is applied, the particles bind to plastics and cluster together, trapping even ultrafine fragments that evade standard filtration. So the particles can be magnetically recovered and reused, reducing costs and environmental impact. So this study, it's been published in the Journal of Environmental Management, and it highlights the technology's potential for drinking water, wastewater treatment, and environmental cleanup.
The science behind it sounds very difficult and very complicated. However, the bottom line is that we have a new way of cleaning the environment,
Yes.
making the air clean.
Yeah.
그래요. 우리 초미세 플라스틱 참 문제잖아요. 뉴스에도 많이 나오기도 하는데 지금 설명한 그 과학적인 내용은 사실 너무 전문적이어서 제가 뭐 구체적으로 더 설명을 안 해도 될 것 같은데 그 중요한 것은 이렇게 해서 새로운 환경 정화 기술이 개발이 됐다라는 겁니다. 자, 그럼 표현을 좀 볼까요? Let's have a look at microscopic.
Microscopic. When something is microscopic, it means it's so small that you can't see it with your eyes. It's only visible with a microscope.
microscopic는요, 아주 미세하다라는 뜻입니다. microscope가 현미경인데요. 현미경으로 봐야지만 알 수 있을 정도의 그런 굉장히 작은 것 이런 뜻이 되겠죠. 저는 이제 microscopic라는 단어를 들으면 영어에서 가장 긴 단어가 생각나요. 혹시 아세요? 영어 Do you know the longest word in the English dictionary?
I'm sure I've learned of it, but I've forgotten.
It has the word microscopic in it.
In it.
Yeah. I might try to pronounce it because I have actually, come across this word a few times in the past. It's 자, 한번 해볼게요. 영어 사전에 있는 가장 긴 단어. 여기 안에 microscopic을 한번 잘 들어보세요. Pneumono-ultrasonic microscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
Okay,
이겁니다.
that's not what I was thinking about, but all right.
이게 이제 영어에서 가장 긴 단어입니다. 45개의 레터가 들어있는데요. 그 안에 ultra microscopic가 있었어요. 마이크로스코픽도 미세한 건데 ultra microscopic이니까 엄청나게 미세한 무언가가 그 요인이 되는 어떤 그 lung disease를
Yes.
얘기하고 있거든요. 우리 작가님이 참 짓궂게도 스펠링 알려줘 이렇게 하는데 자, 이거는 여러분 찾아보시면 되겠습니다. 45개의 레터가 있어요. 제가 말을 해봐야 뭐 큰 도움이 안 될 것 같은데 자, microscopic. What about drawing something together?
Yeah, when you draw something together, it means to gather or to unite. It could be people or it could be things closer. Either physically, like huddling together, or emotionally, like forming a bond, or just physically, like things coming together.
Yeah, drawing something together. 한데 모으다라는 뜻이 있는 거죠. To draw is a verb we use quite a lot for all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
Whether it's something you're interested in, something that's popular, or in this case, of course, we're actually bringing or pulling particles together.
Yeah.
Right, well, here's the headline one more time. Korean researchers have developed a water treatment method that removes more than 95% of microscopic plastic pollution within 10 minutes by drawing the particles together using a magnetic field. Okay, let's move on to the next headline.
Scientists have found traces of plant toxins on Stone Age arrowheads used in South Africa about 60,000 years ago, identifying the oldest known poison arrows and pushing back the timeline for sophisticated hunting strategies.
남아프리카 지역에서 나온 6만 년 전 석기 화살촉에서 독성 화학 물질의 흔적이 발견됐습니다. 이는 현재까지 확인된 독화살 가운데 가장 오래된 것으로 이번 발견으로 인류가 정교한 사냥 전략을 쓴 시점이 앞당겨졌습니다. The funny thing is, in Korean we say 시점이 앞당겨졌다. In English we say the timeline has been pushed back.
Yeah.
앞, 뒤. 영어식 표현에는 뒤로 갔다. 그러니까 더 오래전 과거라는 얘기를 영어로는 뒤. It's been pushed back 하고요. 우리는 이제 더 오래전이라는 의미로 앞당겨졌다.
Yeah.
이렇게 표현하는 게 문화적인 차이인 것
Yeah,
같은데
yeah.
네, 그냥 한번 제 observation을 말씀드렸습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so this is according to a study that was published in Science Advances, and they say that a chemical analysis of these quartz arrowheads that were excavated from, I cannot pronounce this. It's Umlazuzana
Sorry, I
rock
can't help
shelter.
you.
Yeah, it's in South Africa.
Okay.
But it revealed residues of toxic alkaloids from the gift bowl plant, and they're still used as a hunting poison in the region today. So researchers say that the use of poison arrows suggests highly sophisticated hunting strategies.
Yeah.
So rather than killing prey instantly, these toxins weakened animals over time, reducing the effort needed to track and exhaust them. So the findings indicate advanced planning, cause and effect reasoning, and deep knowledge of plant chemistry among early Homo sapiens, thousands of years earlier than previously documented.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, the discovery pushes back the earliest direct evidence of poisoned hunting weapons by more than 50,000 years and reinforces the idea that bow and arrow technology was a complex and fundamental tool in early human survival and expansion.
독화살, poison arrow. 이게 기존에는요, 한 4,000년 전에서 8,000년 전부터 인류가 이런 것들을 생각해내서 화살촉에다가 독을 이렇게 묻혀가지고 사냥했을 것이다.
Yeah.
이렇게 추정을 했는데, 8,000년 전이 아니라 지금 새로 발견된 화살촉을 보니까 6만 년 전에 화살촉 끝에도 독이 묻어있는
Yeah.
흔적이 있어요.
And it's the same kind of poison or toxin that's used today.
그러니까 인류가 우리가 생각한 것보다 더 sophisticated한 그런 뭐랄까요, 좀 뛰어난
Yeah.
그런 지능을 가지고 사냥을 했다는 것을 알 수 있습니다. 아주 오래 전부터.
Yes.
Right, let's have a look at 흔적, traces.
Traces, yeah, traces of something. So this is talking about it could be a mark, an object, or other indication of the existence or passing of something. So a mark or a sign that something happened or existed.
자, traces of something, 무엇의 흔적입니다. I think there's a song that goes traces of you, 너의 흔적. 뭐 이런 실현 노래가 있는 것
Yeah,
같아요. 자, 다음에는
Is that an Ed Sheeran song?
Might be. I don't know.
No. It's something of
I'll look it up.
meant something of you. I don't think it was traces. It was
그럼
something
Shape
of
of You.
you. Shape of you.
Shape of You가 Ed Sheeran이고요. Traces of You는 다른 가수인 것 같습니다. 자, sophisticated 볼까요?
Yeah, sophisticated. So we could say that it's a sophisticated system.
Yep.
So when we're talking about like techniques or machinery, it means that it's been developed to a very high degree of complexity. So when we say someone looks sophisticated, we could use that in terms of fashion or culture. When someone has a great deal of worldly experience or knowledge, we could say that they're very sophisticated, or they have a lot of she has a sense of sophistication.
You look very sophisticated today, Karen.
Do I?
As always, you always look sophisticated. 항상 세련된 느낌이잖아요. 우리 캐런 선생님이. 이 세련됐다라는 의미가 될 수 있어요. 근데 그 외에도 굉장히 발달했다라는 의미. 뭔가 정교하고 많은 기술이 들어간 것들 다 sophisticated라고 부를 수 있습니다. 이 화살촉도 6만 년 전의 화살인데도 끝에 독을 묻힐 생각을 했다라는 것은 굉장히 sophisticated한 생각이죠.
Yeah.
굉장히 발달된 아이디어입니다.
And I thought it was kind of amazing that it wasn't used to kill the prey immediately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was to weaken them so that they didn't need to work as hard.
Right, exactly. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Scientists have found traces of plant toxins on Stone Age arrowheads used in South Africa about 60,000 years ago, identifying the oldest known poison arrows and pushing back the timeline for sophisticated hunting strategies. Let's move on to the final headline.
Scientists have discovered male human DNA on a chalk drawing attributed to Leonardo da Vinci, as well as on a letter written by one of his cousins that may have belonged to the Renaissance genius.
르네상스 시대의 거장 레나르도 다빈치의 분필 드로잉과 그의 사촌이 쓴 편지에서 다빈치의 것으로 추정되는 DNA가 발견됐습니다. Okay, so now we can maybe use this DNA to find out more about Da Vinci.
Exactly, because he's still kind of shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
So they're saying that this might potentially advance efforts to map the artist's genome and verify disputed works. I think that's what's really important, because they have a lot of these artworks that are attributed to him, but they're not exactly sure. So the team extracted and compared Y chromosome DNA from both items, which is, I believe, the chalk drawing and a letter that we mentioned. And they say that it's a key approach, since Leonardo had no direct descendants and lineage must be traced through the father's line. And while the samples appear to share a common Tuscan ancestor, skepticism do remain, because the drawing, which is known as Holy Child, has disputed authorship and may have been created by a student rather than Leonardo himself. Okay. And also there are more complications to this matter, because the artwork also contains centuries worth of DNA from there's bacteria, plants, and viruses. So this makes it very complicated. So even if the human DNA proves to be inconclusive, researchers do say that the findings still offer a very unique biological record of a Renaissance artwork's very, very long history.
Yeah. DNA analysis is such a sophisticated science that we're able to do that better and better by the year. And now sometimes we can go back to criminal cases, for example, where we didn't know
that have been closed.
Yeah, that were closed, but we can reopen it and find traces of DNA that are decades old and find and pinpoint the culprit.
The actual killer or...
Exactly. But in the same way, maybe after all these years since Da Vinci passed away, we can find out a little bit more about him now that we have this DNA and we have the technology to look into it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was a genius.
Yeah, find out that maybe Mona Lisa wasn't drawn by Da Vinci after all. Who knows?
Reaching a little farther, but yes, we don't know. 정말 천재였잖아요. 다빈치는 뭐 그림이면 그림, 수학이면은 수학, 뭐 발명도 했고 건축도 했고 진짜 천재였는데 이제 이렇게 DNA가 새롭게 발견이 되면서 분석을 해보고 혹시 어떤 천재 DNA 이런 게 발견될까? 천재들만의 DNA 이런 관심이 쏠리고 있습니다. Okay, let's have a look at a drawing attributed to Da Vinci.
Yeah. So attributed to someone means to think of something as being made or created by someone.
그렇죠. Attributed to A라고 하면은 누구에 기인한다, 무엇에 기인한다. 그러니까 누구 덕분이다. 이런 의미가 되겠죠. 아니면 때문이다.
Yeah.
근데 여기서는 attributed to Da Vinci.
Yeah.
그러니까 다빈치의 것이다.
Yeah.
이렇게 그렇게 추정이 되는 다빈치의 것으로 추정이 되는 그런 이제 분필 속 DNA 발견이 됐고요. And then it may have belonged to라는 표현도 있어요.
May have belonged to. So possibly it means to be the property of.
Yep.
Or it could also mean to be a member or part of a particular group or organization as well.
그래요. It may have 어쩌면 뭐뭐 했을 것이다. belonged to 누구의 소유, 누구의 것이었을 것이다. 이 뒤에 나오는 the Renaissance genius는 다빈치를 지칭하는
Yes.
건데요. 여러분 아시죠? 영어의 특성. 같은 문장 안에 똑같은 단어 반복하기를 참 꺼려하는 영어의 특성이 있어서 다빈치 하지 않고 다빈치라고 했다가 그 르네상스 천재라고도 표현을 하는데 같은 사람입니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Scientists have discovered male human DNA on a chalk drawing attributed to Leonardo da Vinci, as well as on a letter written by one of his cousins that may have belonged to the Renaissance genius. Well, that's it for the headlines with Karen Choi.
Sales of merchandise at the National Museum of Korea, sold under the MUDS brand, reached 41.3 billion won in annual revenue last year, setting a new record amid sustained global interest in Korean culture, according to the National Museum Cultural Foundation.
국립박물관 문화재단은 한국 문화에 대한 글로벌 인기가 지속되면서 2025년 국립박물관 문화상품 뮤즈의 연간 매출액이 약 413억 원으로 집계돼 역대 최고 기록을 경신했다고 밝혔습니다. So Muse refers to the museum goods, and they spell it MU with a sort of colon and then DS. But yeah, it's so popular right now, it's really hard to get those souvenirs. And I checked the website this morning actually because I wanted to get the really popular 그 까치 호랑이 배지. But I couldn't because now you can only get those offline. You used to be able to get them online, but not anymore. And this is due to surging demand.
Absolutely. And, you know, I remember reading in the newspaper recently that there were people considering or asking, should they charge admission at the National Museum? Because right now it is free to enter. And I've gone several times actually with my kids, and they love going there and spending the day there. So I remember when I saw, you know, the possibility of them charging admission, I was like, no, please don't.
They earn plenty of money at the souvenir shop.
Exactly.
It's pretty pricey.
And when I was there, the souvenir shop was absolutely packed. So
When did you go?
that would have been in the fall, maybe November, October.
not too long ago.
Yeah, not
Okay,
too, certainly after K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yes.
So by then, that was already in full swing, and there were, you know, clearly a lot of people that were very interested in Korean museum merchandise.
그래요. 413억 원이 어느 정도 규모인지 감이 안 올 수 있는데요. 1년 전과 비교를 하면은 한 2배나 는 겁니다.
Yeah, that's right.
엄청나게 많이 지금 수브니아가 팔렸는데 진짜 캐대헌의 영향이 확실히 있었던 것 같고 그 외에도 뭐 한국 문화에 대한 관심이 있었겠지만 조금 전에 제가 언급했던 그 배지 같은 경우에는 정말 뭐 너무나 많이 팔리고 인기도 많고 그래서 가끔씩은 이제 일시 품절이 됐다가 또 다시 또 리스톡하고 그러고 있는 상황이라고 해요. 저도 사고 싶더라고요. 이거 너무 귀엽던데.
And of course, K-pop Demon Hunters recently won 2 Golden Globe Awards.
Yes.
So, and during the acceptance speech of the awards, one of the creators was mentioning that she was so blessed and so appreciative that the world and the producers of the movie were willing to showcase Korean culture in that way. Because, you know, there were a lot of things that were very Korean that, you know, from an outside investor standpoint might be like, are we sure we want to keep that much, you know, just Korean content in there? But the fact that they were accepting of that, she was very appreciative of.
Yeah, definitely. Now let's have a look at this expression here. Under the something brand.
Yeah, under the brand of something, like the brand is sort of what pushes the sales of something because a brand is recognized, right? There's several different brands we can think of in every clothing apparel, whether it be food, whether it be a service that we pay for. But it's the brand that we understand that this brand has a standard that we expect. So when something is under that brand, then it's sort of because of that brand that something is selling or something is accepted or something is bought.
네, 어떠한 브랜드 명의로 under the something brand, 이 경우에는 under the Mudes brand. 자, 그다음엔 sustained interest.
If you sustain something, then you're able to kind of uphold or continue something in a certain direction. So if you're sustaining, let's say, sales, then you're having good sales and you're able to continue that over a prolonged period of time. It's not dipping down as, maybe you might have expected. So you're sort of able to upkeep something to a certain level.
아하, 자, 지속하다라는 뜻이 있죠. sustain, upkeep도 마찬가지로 계속 뭔가 유지하다라는 뜻인데 sustained interest는 관심이 지속되고 있다는 거를 얘기하고 있네요. So it's not just a short trend that's going away, but it's lasting.
And sometimes people might say, hey, okay, this product or this thing is doing really great right now, but is it sustainable long term? Is it going to be able to continue this way over a long period of time?
Exactly. 자, sustainable 하면 우리가 또 지속 가능하다 이렇게 번역을 하잖아요. Sustained interest는 그렇게 지속되는 관심입니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Sales of merchandise at the National Museum of Korea sold under the Mudes brand reached 41.3 billion won in annual revenue last year, setting a new record amid sustained global interest in Korean culture, according to the National Museum Cultural Foundation. Now let's move on to the next headline.
The total number of passengers using Korea's railway network reached a record high last year, fueled by growing demand for high-speed rail services, according to the Transport Ministry.
국토교통부에 따르면 지난해 고속철도 탑승 수요가 증가함에 따라 전체 철도 이용객 수가 역대 최고치를 기록한 것으로 나타났습니다. More and more people using the train services. More specifically, we're talking about the KTX and, of course, the SRT. Tell us more.
Yeah, so a total of 172.2 million people traveled by train in 2025. That is up by 0.6% compared to a year earlier. And when you consider there's maybe a little over 50 million people that live in the country, 172 million have used the train. So it's like everyone used the train at least 3 times last year. So when you consider that as an average, you can see that a lot of people have been using the train recently.
그렇죠. 전체 이용객 수가 1억 7천만 명 정도가 된다고 하니까 이제 이거를 다 합산을 한 것이기 때문에 숫자가 이렇게 큰데요. 보통 한 번만 철도를 이용할 수도 있지만 이용하시는 분들은 자주 이용하시거든요. 그러다 보니까 이렇게 숫자가 굉장히 큰 1억 7천만 명 정도가 된 것 같은데 특히 if we break it down a little bit, KTX하고 SRT가 이용객 수가 늘었고 그 다음에 일반 철도 같은 경우 새마을호, 무궁화호 같은 경우는 이용객 수가 줄었죠. 근데 전반적으로는 올랐지만.
Yeah, the overall numbers are up slightly, but as you mentioned, the 2 high-speed services, they carried a record 118.7 million passengers last year, which is up 2.6% from the year ago. So when you talk about Koreans having that 빨리빨리 mentality, there's evidence of it. Oh, I got to get there a little bit faster.
그래요. 고속철도 정말 신속하기는 너무나 신속하죠. I love taking the KTX myself as well. 자, 우리가
I don't think I can remember the last time I've gone to Busan without taking a high-speed train.
Because you do go to Busan quite a lot, and I guess if you had to take the slow trains, it would take forever. Whereas even if you drove, it would take quite a long time. But Thanks to the KTX, you're there in a flash.
Yeah, I mean, in the overall picture of things, it might be the difference of maybe 2 to 3 hours, but at the
That's
same
a lot,
time,
though,
it
yeah.
seems it's almost twice as long, and it seems like good value for your money to pay the extra and just get there a little bit faster.
네, 그렇습니다. 일반 철도 이용객 수는 조금 줄었지만 고속열차를 이용하는 분들이 워낙에 많이 늘었기 때문에 전반적으로 봤을 때는 이렇게 고속철 중심으로 전체 철도 이용객 수가 늘고 있는 모습입니다. Let's have a look at be fueled by something.
If you're fueled by something, then that's the reason for something happening. We've talked before about something driving something because it's taking something to a new place or pushing something in a direction. But if you're fueling something in the same way of if you're in a car,
Yep.
well, you need fuel for that car to move, whether it be gas or diesel or electricity. You need some sort of fuel to make that car move. It can't just go by itself. It needs some form of energy. So, what's moving that car? Well, this is the fuel. What's moving the people on the KTX? What's the reason for these numbers being this high? Well, this is the reason. This is what's fueling it.
fuel, 연료. be fueled by something. 무언가 연료가 돼서 앞으로 나가게 하는 거죠. 그러니까 지금 이렇게 철도 이용객이 많이 늘어난 연료는 뭐냐? 이유가 뭐냐? Growing demand for high-speed rail services. 고속 철도 이용객의 수가 늘었기 때문에 전체 열차 이용객 수가 늘었다. Let's look at rail services.
Rail services meaning any sort of service that you're using on rails, which would be like the train for the most part.
Yeah.
And whatever the service is, it can be, you could mention, let's say, this person needs medical service, medical attention. So they need the services of doctors. They need help
Right.
medically. So there's any time that it's services onto something, then whatever that something is,
Yeah.
you need some service from that department.
그래요. 우리가 이제 의료 서비스 할 때 medical service, 철도 서비스 하면 rail service라고 하면 되는 건데 여기서 한 가지 주의할 점은요. 우리나라에서는 이거 서비스예요. 이거 서비스 이렇게 얘기할 때가 있어요. 무료로
Yes.
뭔가 줄 때. 요거는 콩글리시입니다.
Konglish.
네, 영어로 뭐라고 하면 좋을까요?
We would say this one's on the house, or you don't need to pay for this.
Yeah.
This is free.
Yeah, exactly. So you would say it in many different ways. If someone said, this is service, then I think an American or Canadian would be
confused.
very confused.
Yes.
What kind of service, they might say. So that's just a little thing to keep in mind. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The total number of passengers using Korea's railway network reached a record high last year, fueled by growing demand for high-speed rail services, according to the Transport Ministry.
The World Bank has forecast global economic growth at 2.6% this year, saying that the resilience seen ahead of the U.S. tariff hikes will fade as trade volumes and domestic demand decline.
세계은행이 올해 세계 경제 성장률을 작년 대비 소폭 둔화한 2.6%로 전망하면서 그 이후로 지난해 미국의 관세 부과를 앞두고 급증하는 모습을 보였던 교역량이 올해는 점차 줄어들고 국내 수요도 감소할 것으로 보이는 점을 들었습니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, the Global Economic Prospects report that the World Bank forecast this year's growth to be at 2.6%. That's 0.1% lower than last year's estimate. And they were expecting, a bit of a bounce back this year until these U.S. tariff hikes came in. So they're kind of the culprits to blame, I think, for it being forecast as low as it is or as low as it's expected to be.
그래요. 지난번에 전망이 나왔던 게 이제 2025년 6월이었는데요. 그때는 2.4%로 올해 경제 성장률을 전망했었거든요. 그러니까 그때에 비하면은 네, 이번에 2.6%니까 조금 올라갔다고 볼 수 있나요? So the forecast has gone up, did you say?
It's down by 0.1%.
아, 그렇군요.
Yeah, last year was 2.7. This year's 2.6.
네네. 그러니까 작년에 경제 성장률은 2.7%였고요. 그것에 비하면은 올해 경제 성장률은 2.6%로 내다보고 있기 때문에 작년에 비하면은 경제 성장을 좀 덜 할 것이다. 그러나 전망치 자체는 소폭 증가했어요. 2.4%로 한 6개월 전에 전망했었는데 이번에는 상향 조정이 됐습니다.
I think they're saying, though, that if it weren't for these U.S. tariffs, then maybe it would have been even better than last year's. However,
Okay.
because of the tariffs, I think that's why the projections actually went down compared to a year ago.
All right. Well, let's have a look at this word resilience. You said earlier on we're going to see the economy bounce back.
Yeah, and resilience is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a comeback, showing that when something is not doing well or you've kind of gone through some bad times, but through it you're okay,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
kind of come out okay on the other side. So you're having a bounce back or a comeback or something where you've been able to endure these hardships and kind of come out the other side okay.
Yeah, exactly. To bounce back, to be resilient means you fall over and then you get back up again. 오뚜기처럼 넘어져도 다시 일어나고 하는 게 바로 이 회복력, 아니면은 뭐 복원력, 회복 탄성력이라고도 하죠. resilience가 되겠습니다.
And you might be worried about someone that's going through hardships, or maybe someone lost their job, or something bad happened to someone, and someone might say, "Oh, don't worry, that person, they're very resilient," or "This is a resilient person, so they're going to be okay because even when they go through difficult times or hardships, they're going to come up standing on their feet."
Yeah, I think this is such an important lesson in life. 자, 다음으로 ahead of 보겠습니다.
Ahead of is just like before or in front of or something that happened in the past.
ahead of something. 무엇보다 먼저, 무엇에 앞서 이런 뜻이죠.
Yeah, so it's talking about the U.S. tariffs. So this happened before those went into effect.
자, 그럼 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The World Bank has forecast global economic growth at 2.6% this year, saying that the resilience seen ahead of the US tariff hikes will fade as trade volumes and domestic demand decline. Let's move on to the next headline.
Taiwan has officially become a super-aged society for the first time, with people aged 65 or older accounting for 20% of its shrinking population in 2025.
네, 타이완이 2025년을 기점으로 인구의 20%가 65세 이상인 초고령 사회에 공식 진입했습니다. And to that, I want to say, welcome to the club.
Yeah, Korea's not the only ones.
All right, tell us more.
Yeah, so the island nation has 23 million people, and their population is shrinking. But the aging population is actually growing, so they have a bit of a birth crisis as well.
Yep.
Like Korea, only 9,027 newborns were recorded in December of 2025. That's a decrease of 27% from a year earlier.
Oh my goodness. 네, 타이완도 이제는 공식적으로 초고령 사회에 진입을 했습니다. Let's have a look at some expressions here. Account for something.
Let's look at the word in the middle there, which is count. So if you're counting things, then you want to know how many or how much, right? So accounting for 20%, well, this is the number that it makes up. So when you're counting, you're thinking of math and numbers and stuff. So let's count 20% of the shrinking population. This is how many of that.
그렇죠. Account for something은 얼마만큼의 비율을 차지한다라는 뜻이 있어서요. People aged 65 or older, 65세 이상 인구가 account for 20% of its population, 전체 인구의 20% 또는 그 이상 차지하게 됐을 때 이렇게 super aged society, 초고령 사회라고 하죠. So this is the case in Korea and Japan and now Taiwan as well. So what's shrinking? The population is shrinking.
It means it's getting smaller.
Yep.
So anytime something is shrinking or something has shrunk in the past tense, then it's gone smaller compared to before.
Yep. Have you ever put like a wool sweater in the washing machine
Yes, I have.
and ended up it being 2-3 sizes smaller?
You know, the funny thing is, I've actually done that on purpose because there was a sweater that was
Too big?
Too big for me.
okay.
So yeah, what I thought, you know what I'm going to try to do? I'll put it into the washer and
shrink it.
and I'll dry it to try to shrink it, and it actually didn't shrink enough. I was hoping that it would shrink more.
How big was this sweater, Jason? 자, 옷이 이렇게 싹 줄어들 때도 shrinking 한다라고 표현을 하는데요. 지금은 인구의 규모를 얘기하고 있습니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Taiwan has officially become a super-aged society for the first time, with people aged 65 or older accounting for 20% of its shrinking population in 2025. Here's our next headline.
The number of airline passengers at Vietnamese airports surpassed 83 million in 2025, rising more than 10% from the previous year to a record high driven by a surge in international travel.
지난해 베트남 항공 여객 수가 국제선 확장에 따른 이용객 증가 덕분에 8,300만 명을 넘어서면서 전년 대비 10% 이상 증가하며 역대 최고치를 기록했습니다. Alright, let's talk about Vietnam.
Yeah, of course, Vietnam has been very much a growing nation when it comes to significance of travel.
Yeah.
You know what I found interesting here was so airline transported 46.6 million international passengers. That's up 12% from the year before, but also cargo volume surged 22% to around 1.3 million tons. So it's not just people, but merchandise and things have been going up as well. And we know a lot, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've certainly noticed that a lot more things are made in Vietnam now compared to before. So
Do you see a lot of the made in Vietnam signs?
Yeah, there's been a lot of those. So yeah, just noticing that recently.
네, 베트남의 항공 산업 얘기를 하고 있는 건데요. 이 비행기를 이용하는 게 사람만이 아니라 화물도 비행기로 많이 실잖아요. 이제 베트남에서 물건을 수출할 때라든지 그러다 보니까 베트남 이제 국제선이 주로 이렇게 많은 사람들의 그 여객수를 늘리는데 기여를 했는데 국제선 승객은 한 4,600만 명 정도였다고 합니다. 작년에 그게 12% 증가된 건데요. 1년 전에 비해서. 화물량 같은 경우에는요. 22% 증가를 해서 한 130만 톤이나 화물이 엄청나게 많이 비행기를 통해서 이동을 했네요.
A lot of factories are developing in Vietnam these
Yes,
days.
that makes sense. So when we look at these numbers, most of the time we're comparing it to the previous year.
Yeah, the year before. So previous is something that was before or in the past. So when it says, it's more than 10% from the previous year, then we're talking about the year before, or in this case, it would be just last year.
그렇죠. 이전해라는 뜻입니다. The previous year. So in English, when we talk about these stats, we say compared to the previous year. Or you could also say compared to the year before or the year prior. So these are all the same things. And how about to surge or a surge?
A surge, think of like a sudden amount of something being increased. So it could be, in this case, we're talking about a surge in travelers, in international travelers. So
Right.
there's a sudden burst or a sudden increase.
Yeah.
But we often hear this when it comes to like a power surge. Will sometimes cause a blackout or
Yep.
for power to go down. You can have, let's say, a storm that will bring a water surge in rivers, or
Yes.
so we'll have more water in the rivers that can lead to floods. So a surge, you're suddenly increasing the number or amount of something.
Yeah, it's the sudden increase of something. 갑자기 뭔가가 많이 늘었을 때 surge라는 표현을 씁니다. 동사도 되고요. 명사도 돼요. 그래서 전체 베트남 항공 여객 수는 한 8천만 명이었는데 그중에서 국제선의 승객이 많이 늘었어요. 한 4,600만 명이 됐습니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The number of airline passengers at Vietnamese airports surpassed 83 million in 2025, rising more than 10% from the previous year to a record high, driven by a surge in international travel. All right, well, that's it for the headlines with Jason Lee.